The updated for 2025 Genesis GV80. Designers tweaked the interior and took a fine-tooth comb to the interior, but the chassis and powertrain largely carries on as before. Let's take a closer look. Looking at the front of the car, here's where a lot of the exterior design changes are pretty darn obvious. We have a new emblem that is now all metal right here. This is a fully metal Genesis emblem right here. And just beneath that, we have new grille design. Now, the basic grille shape is the same, but now we have this 2-layer thick bar instead of a single layer thick bar, and we have these larger diamonds and then smaller diamonds in between as a result. And they've also added more chrome. We've got this chrome around the perimeter, but then more chrome for the lower bumper right here. And there you can see some of the sensors and other things for things like adaptive cruise control and that kind of stuff to work. We also have this really interesting shape down here, these little like extra inlets right at the base of the bumper right there, which I think looks really nice and interesting. And then we have these larger air intakes off to the side over here. And then these are called micro array lenses. These are new lights. So it still has the split design where you have body work in between the upper and lower lenses, but then look inside and you have tiny little lenses in between, and then your daytime running lights there and there. So it's a really interesting look, and it does light up nicely. Now the hood itself, at least to me, looks pretty much the same. We do have this new color. It is called Store Green. I'll give you another look at that in just a moment, but I still want to show you what's underneath. And there it is, your twin turbocharged 3.5 liter V6, 375 horsepower, 391 pound-feet of torque. Now, this is the same as what you had before the update. Powertrain effectively stayed the same. The base engine is also still a 2.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder that makes 300 horsepower, 311 pound-feet of torque. But those are still nice, respectable numbers all the same, and really it's kind of a relief that we still get to carry on with a nice, relatively large V6 to give good linear power and a lot of mid-range torque. And windshield washer fluid is way off to the side right here. Looking at the car in profile, you can see that it does retain the same basic shape. It is the same size, but we do have this nice store green color to look at as well. And there is another really nice, and I would say bold touch to look at, and that is this chrome element that starts at the lower bumper right here, continues and actually gets thicker as you go through the doors, continues on past the wheel right onto the rear bumper. I think that's a really nice touch. And there's also more chrome around the window trim here, which, you know, helps liven things up. This is a nice metal as well. And then you've got more polished metal right here with this side design, which basically mimics the headlights for proximity and shape and everything else. Overall, I think it's a really nice look. I think generally this is a really nice shape and a really nice look. They haven't changed, but I will go ahead and put the dimensions up on the screen so you can check those out and let you know that I have a lot more information in the description. You choose between 20 and 22-inch wheels for the Genesis GV80. These are the 22s. They are the same size as before, but again, it's a new design, and I think this is a nice design. You start with these 5 big fat spoke rims, but then you have these nice, again, bifurcated polished metal look cut in between them. And then also, we have these nice and big Genesis calipers right there. I think that's a nice touch. And yes, this is a square setup. The wheels in back are the same size as what's in front. Looking at the car from the back, this is mostly the same as it has been since the car was launched in 2021. You can see that it is a 4-wheel drive, 3.5 liter turbo. All Genesis GV80s are 4-wheel drive, or all-wheel drive, excuse me. But again, we have this nice chrome element down here. And actually, one thing I really like is Genesis went away from these kind of like faux exhaust tips that were like Genesis grill shaped on either side. It is still dual exhaust tips, but now they're totally hidden. One right there and the other right there. I think that's the way to go. I really like it. And because a lot of these things haven't changed, that's true of the cargo space as well. But let me show you. First of all, standard on the GV80 is a hands-free power tailgate. You don't need to use your hands to open it, but I really love this integrated hidden button right here that I'm going to use it. And that opens up to show you 35 cubic feet of storage behind the second row, and a lot of little clever bits. You know, we have those hooks here, we have a mat here to help hold things down, another one off to the side, 12-volt power right here, and these two buttons right here, one push of a button, and manually move this out of the way, and you get 84 cubic feet of storage and room for two. And that is a nice wide loading space right there. Not that high off the ground. It's not perfectly flat, but it's pretty darn close. So I think that would be not only a lot of loading space, but easy loading space. And as long as I put the privacy panel back, 2 touches of a button put it back up as well. Lovely. All right, let's look at the second row. The second row has less different than the first, but that is certainly not a bad thing. It offers a lot of convenience. Look at the options you have for moving the seat around. It offers a good amount of space, nice quilted material right here, and its own climate control and USB ports and even AC power right there. And by the way, if you want, you can just fold the seats right here as well. I am 5 feet 11 inches tall, or 181 centimeters, and you can see that I have several inches of legroom. It's also got a pretty darn decently high seat bottom, so I have good thigh support as well, which means that I have less than a 90-degree bend in my knees. Also, I have headroom, and I even have a little vanity mirror. Hello. That's always lovely. Here is my third zone of climate control lit up, and you can see that I also have heated and ventilated seats for the second row. That's really, really nice. Of course, that doesn't apply to the center seat, but as long as you don't have a third passenger back here, you do also have an armrest with cup holders and a lovely little storage place right there. So yeah, this is a very nice and comfortable second row. Oh, and let's not forget, as you can see with the rain starting to fall, I don't need it now, but we have power sunshades for the rear doors as well. Pretty slick. All right, let's look up front. I am just starting to get rained on, so this might be a tiny bit rushed, but much of this interior is the same as before, but there are differences. We have this really nice two-tone material here. We also have this nice beige to go with this green. We also now have Bang & Olufsen sound systems with these grills, and we were just told that these are custom to Genesis, these grills. You do have the usual controls on the door right here, as well as several controls on the seat right here, including ergo motion seat massage right here, and a whole bunch of lumbar support options right here. We do have a couple of buttons to the left of the steering wheel. Most importantly, here's another way to open and close the tailgate and your electric park brake. Up higher, some other controls that you can see here. Tilt and telescope is adjusted electrically right there. As you saw, I already started the car to show you the rear controls for the second row, but there is the 27-inch continuous screen. This is all one screen, 27 inches OLED, organic LED screen right here. It is really thin. It is bright, it's clear, lots of pixels, high definition, really slick. And you have a lot of controls for it. First of all, if I use this button right here on the steering wheel, I can move the things going on in the center. And you can also, just by sliding this, get your menu of things going on. But look, you can see this never ends. But then when you do pull up the menu, you can see you have a lot of different options here, including mood curator right here. This is fun. So you can play and get different scents and music, and the screen lights up and does different things to establish a mood, be it vitality, delight, care, or comfort. There's a lot about this screen that is super nice, but there is one thing I need to point out. Right there, it says phone projection. This does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and it is wireless, almost. There needs to be an over-the-air update that Genesis says is going to come in about a month that will make Apple CarPlay and Android Auto wireless, but for the moment, for this test car, there are two USB Type-C ports right there. You plug into this one right here, and you still have wired Apple CarPlay at this moment, but Genesis promises that that will change soon. Moving beneath the big screen, we have another screen right here. So our first two zones of climate control are this touchpad right here. It's a nice lit screen, and it works well. I certainly don't need heated seats in Texas, but cooled seat is nice. It does work well. There's nice positive touches to it, and you do get real knobs for heat and for volume and those types of things. You can see I have a lot of different controls right there. Lift this. That is where you have the USB ports, but also this wireless smartphone charger right here and another 12-volt outlet right there. Lovely. Beneath that, this is our command center for this big center console touchscreen right here. And beneath that, this dial is our Prindle. It takes a good level of force to change gears, so it's a nice positive feedback system. I need to turn it solidly to get to reverse. Reverse pops up right there. Do the same to get to drive. The lighter touch gets you in neutral, and then you press the button to get back to park. Over here we have some options for the cameras and parking. This is a center diff lock right here. You can turn on and off the engine start stop when you're moving around, and of course drive modes. We have Eco, Comfort, Sport, Individual, and Snow. A not overbearing, reasonable number of drive modes for an SUV like this. Comfort is extremely comfortable. Sport does liven things up a little bit, but in my opinion, it could liven it up a touch more. Beneath that, we have this nice lower center console storage, which does have my name and a couple of USB ports that we can use for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Looking up, we do have a sunglasses holder. We do have an electric privacy panel for the moonroof. Lovely. Oh, but don't open, please. And we're not quite done, because this rear view mirror is actually a screen for a camera in back to be a digital rear view mirror. So feel free to load up the GV80 as much as you want and still be able to see out of the back. So there you have it. The updated 2025 Genesis GV80 premium mid-size SUV. It's a smart update. There's a lot to like here. I'm Robin Warner. Thank you very much for watching.